So it consists of one is a penstock with spear. So this is the penstock with spear. So runner with bucket or a blades. So this is the casing, and this is the braking jet. And one more, this is called tail race. Okay, this is tail race. Okay. So next we'll move for derivation. So, but before going to the derivation, okay, so this is the Pelton wheel or Pelton turbine buckets or a blades. Okay, so it is a double hemispherical in shape. It is a double hemispherical in shape, but the water is striking at the middle. Okay, so here. Okay, see here, the water, okay, striking at the center, and the water will get out into two halves. Okay, it is breaking into two halves, either this direction or in this direction. Okay, so for this we have to write the velocity triangle. Okay, so now only I'm telling here the Pelton wheel. Okay, it is a tangential flow type. Okay, while coming to the type, okay, flow type, it is a tangential flow type. So the nozzle angle at inlet, okay, nozzle angle at inlet is completely zero. So that is alpha 1 is 0. The reason is tangential flow. Okay, the reason is tangential flow. Okay, if alpha 1 is 0, okay, the inlet velocity triangle is straight line. Okay, inlet velocity triangle is straight line. So this is very important in Pelton wheel. Okay, in a Pelton wheel. So next we're going to see the derivation. That is the maximum efficiency. Maximum efficiency. So come for here. Okay, so you can see here the velocity triangle. Okay, but before going to this velocity triangle, okay, so first I will draw the inlet and outlet velocity triangle. So that is the general form. Okay, so here I'm going to write the general form. So this is alpha 1, and this is beta 1. So this is V1. So VF1, and this is VR1. From here to here, it is U1. From here to here, it is so VU1. So this is inlet velocity triangle. So next I'm going to draw outlet velocity triangle. So this is alpha 1, and this is beta 1. So this is VR1. Sorry, with respect to 2, beta 2, alpha 2, and this is V2, and this is VF2. So from here to here, so VU2, and from here to here, this is U2. Okay, you have any doubt in this inlet and outlet velocity triangle? You have any doubt in this inlet and outlet velocity triangle?
So angle should be 0, no, sir, alpha 1.
No. I'm writing general form.
Okay.
Okay, still I not entered into this Pelton wheel. Okay, so this is the general inlet and outlet velocity triangle, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now I will come for Pelton wheel. Okay, now I'll come for Pelton wheel. So the characteristics of a Pelton wheel, it is an impulse turbine. Okay, it is an impulse turbine. Next, which type of flow? It is an tangential flow type turbine. Okay, tangent means if I going to draw, okay, one circle here. Okay, if I go draw one circle here, okay, and if I write one line, okay, so this is tangent to the circle. Okay, similarly here you can check. Okay, so here we have the nozzle. Okay, here we have the nozzle with sphere. Then the jet of water striking on the turbine blades at the center. Okay, at the center. So what is the nozzle angle? So here the alpha 1 is 0. So the alpha 1 angle is 0. If alpha 1 is 0, okay, if alpha 1 is 0, so now I'll come for general form velocity triangle. If alpha 1 is 0, what about V1? So V1 will come straight line. Okay, V1 will come straight line. Then what about the blade angle? Even blade angle is also straight line. So this is very, 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 very important in Pelton wheel. Okay, see, outlet remains, what about the outlet velocity triangle? It remains same. You can check it once. There is a no change. Okay, there is a no change outlet velocity triangle. Clear? So now I'll come for the velocity triangle for Pelton wheel. Okay, velocity triangle for Pelton wheel. If alpha 1 is 0, okay, first I'll draw one straight line. Okay, so next, here I'm going to draw so this is the turbine blade. Okay, so it is in a double hemispherical in shape. So now the jet of water striking at the center. The jet of water striking at the center. So this is the nozzle. This is the nozzle. Okay, the jet of water striking at the center. Okay. So if alpha 1 is 0, okay, so V1 will become straight line. Okay, V1 will become straight line. So we're going to so this complete, I'll call it as an V1. Okay, now I have one question. Okay, now I have one question. You just see the general form of velocity triangle. If V1 is straight line, so V1 will become VU1. Right? So V1 is equals to VU1. Yes or no? If alpha angle is 0, so V1 will become VU1.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So V1 will become VU1. V1 will become VU1. The reason is only the straight line because alpha 1 is 0 means, okay, so whatever this V1, it is falling on VU1. Okay, it is falling on VU1. Okay. So next. So next, from year to year, I'll call this U or U1. From next year to year, I will call so year to year, I will call. So this is VR1. So you have any doubt in that velocity triangle? You have any doubt at inlet velocity triangle?
No, sir.
No?
Hello, sir. Beta 1 also 0, sir.
Yeah, see, if alpha 1 is 0, okay, beta angle is there, but what is the beta angle? Even it is also 0. Got it? See, in this what happens if beta angle is varying around from 0 to up to 90 degree, okay, in the generalized form, because okay, there it is not any tangential flow. Got it? But here what happens, okay, if the nozzle alpha 1 itself 0, okay, alpha 1 itself 0, okay, then it will become straight line. Okay, so there is no alpha 1, there is no beta 1 at inlet. It will become completely 180 degree. See, it will become straight line. Okay, it will become straight line. I hope you understood.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, next I'll come for outlet velocity triangle. So outlet velocity triangle, okay, either we can draw in this direction or I can draw in this direction. Either you can write in upward or you can write in the downwards. It is left to you. Okay, if you write upwards, it is also correct, but you have to write the in this direction. Okay, you have to write the direction. Yeah. Okay, so next I will draw outlet velocity triangle. So either you can draw downwards or you can draw upwards. So better we're going to take the downward direction only. So here I'm going to take. So this is VR2 and this is V2 and this is VF2. So with respect to alpha 2 and this is beta 2. So from here to here it is U or U2. This is VU2. Same. Whatever here we have, okay, I took this one. Clear? Either you can write in downward direction or in upward. If upward direction, okay, so you just change the direction. That's it. You just change the direction. I hope you understood the inlet and outlet velocity triangle. You have any doubt in this? You have doubt the velocity triangle?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Yeah, okay. Then we'll move for derivation now. Okay, so we'll move for derivation now. So please practice, okay, or you just note down the step by step. Okay, so this is very important because in the hydraulic turbines you have only one derivation. Okay, you have only one derivation. Clear? Yes. So work done by the Pelton wheel, or they're going to ask the maximum hydraulic efficiency. Okay, or they're going to ask show that or prove that the maximum hydraulic efficiency. Okay, so this is the velocity triangle. Okay, so I forgot to explain here. So what is beta 2? Beta 2 is equals to 180 minus theta. What is this theta? This one. Okay, what is beta 2? 180 minus theta. Okay, so it will gives the beta 2 value. Okay, see the above figure shows the inlet and outlet velocity triangles. Since the angle of entrance of jet is 0, so which is 0? The angle of the nozzle. Okay, the angle of entrance, what is the entrance? That is the nozzle is 0. Why it is 0? Because it is a tangential flow type of fluid. Okay, so that's why the nozzle angle is 0. So the inlet velocity triangle collapses to a straight line. Okay, so whatever the inlet velocity triangle, okay, it will collapses to straight line. The tangential component of absolute velocity at inlet is Vu1 is equals to V1. See, V1 is equals to Vu1, and I want Vr1. Because why I am stating here, because next while deriving the derivation, okay, these are very important. Okay, these are very important. Okay, so what is Vr1? So Vr1 is equals to V1 minus U. Okay, I want this distance. I want Vr1. So Vr1 is equals to V1 minus this distance. Okay, minus this distance. So that is U. So Vr1 is equals to V1 minus U. And here we written U1 is equals to U2. That is equals to U, because okay, because here okay we will get only the mean diameter. So we are not getting so diameter D1 and diameter D2. So we are getting only the mean diameter D. So that's why we have U1 is equals to U2. That is equals to U. Okay. Next, in this derivation, the first step is you should know what is hydraulic turbines. Sorry, you should know what is the efficiency of the. You should know what is hydraulic efficiency. This is very, very, very important because we have to derive. Okay, we have to derive the maximum hydraulic efficiency. That is show that or prove that maximum hydraulic efficiency. So for that, you should know what is hydraulic efficiency in this. Okay. So hydraulic efficiency is given by, it is a work done per second by kinetic energy. Okay, it is a work done by kinetic energy. So if you'll get any doubt, see already, okay, already we discussed here. Where? So already we discussed here. So what is hydraulic efficiency? It is a work done per second by kinetic energy per second. Okay, please remember this hydraulic efficiency. Okay. So what is work done now? Okay, what is work done now? So here we can write. So here we can write it is a rho Q into Vu1 U1 plus Vu2 U2. You can tell why I written positive here. So anyone, okay, anyone you can tell why I written positive here. I want answer from your side. Why I written positive here? Don't know?
So work done machines.
Work done?
Machines.
Now, see, what about the direction? Okay, this is in this direction. Okay, and here it is in a opposite direction. Okay, when we will get a opposite direction, okay, so we'll going to write it as a positive. That is very important. So rho into Q, so Vu1 U1 plus Vu2 U2 divided by what is kinetic energy? It is an half into mv square. Okay, what is kinetic energy? It is an half into mv square. So m we can write it as in the form of a rho into Q. Even here also m dot. Okay, here also m dot. So instead of writing m dot, okay, I written rho into Q. Okay, so these two will get cancelled. Okay, these two will get cancelled. So finally, we can write here hydraulic efficiency is given by 2 into U, because here we have off. So we will get here. So U is nothing but Vu1, sorry, U1 is equals to U2. So that is U into Vu1 plus Vu2 divided by V1 square. Okay, you have any doubt up to equation 1? You have any doubt up to equation 1? No?
No, sir.
Yes. So the equation 1 gives, so hydraulic efficiency is 2 into U into Vu1 plus Vu2 divided by V1 square. Okay. Next, from inlet velocity triangle, from the inlet velocity triangle. So just now I told, so VU1 is equals to V1. See, VU1 is equals to V1. And what is VR1? So VR1 is equals to V1 minus U. Okay, V1 minus U. Next, from outlet velocity triangle, because why we want to find out all this, okay, just check it here in the hydraulic efficiency. So here we have the VU1. Okay, similarly, I want to know what is VU2. Okay, similarly, I want to know what is VU2. So that's why, okay, so that's why we have to go for the outlet velocity triangle. So next, from outlet velocity triangle, what is cos beta 2? We just check it once here. What is cos beta 2? So it is given by adjacent by hypotenuse. So what is adjacent? So it is in a U2 plus VU2 by hypotenuse is VR2. So by using this, okay, we want to know what is VU2. So VU2 is equals to VR2 cos beta 2 minus U. Okay, minus U. We're going to call this equation 3. So VU1, it is an equation 2, and VU2. So how we will going to get VU2 from the outlet velocity triangle? Okay, that is from the outlet velocity triangle. So cos beta 2 is equals to adjacent by hypotenuse. So adjacent is U plus VU2, hypotenuse is VR2. So find out VU2. So I'm going to call this equation 3. So there is one condition. Okay, there is one condition. If there are shocks on the vanes, and if the vanes are rough. Okay, so please understand this statement. If there are shocks, okay, shocks is nothing but, okay, it is a dynamic action. Okay, if the jet of water striking on the turbine blades, immediately the turbine blade will start rotates. Okay, immediately the turbine blade will start rotate. So that we can call it as a shock. If there are shocks on the vanes, and if the vanes are rough, when we will get the rough? Okay, if the water or the fluid is passing over on the turbine blades. Okay, the water is passing, or the fluid is passing over the turbine blades, so that we can call it as a rough. Got it? If there are shocks on the vanes, and if the vanes are very rough, then relative velocity at the exit is not same at inlet. Okay, so this is very, very, very important, because usually what we're going to do for impulse turbine, so directly we're going to write it as a VR1 is equals to VR2. So it is for an ideal condition. Okay, it is for an ideal condition. Got it? But here the condition is, if there are shocks on the vanes, okay, and the blades are very rough, then the relative velocity is not same as inlet as well as outlet. It is a different. So then we can write it as CB is equals to VR2 by VR1. Okay, CB is equals to VR2 by VR1. What is CB? CB is bucket velocity coefficient or friction coefficient. So this is very important. Okay, this is very important. Got it? CB is equals to, it is in a VR2 by VR1. What is CB? It is in a bucket velocity coefficient. Okay. Then this VR2, we can write it as CB into VR1. Okay, so then this we can write it as VR2 is equals to CB into VR1. Then what is VR1 from inlet velocity triangle? What is VR1 from inlet velocity triangle? See here. So VR1 is equals to V1 minus U. So we can substitute VR1 here. Okay, so VR2 is equals to CB into V1 minus U. Okay, V1 minus U. So I'm going to call this equation 4. So I'm going to call this equation as 4. So you have any doubt up to equation 4? You have any doubt up to equation 4?
No, sir.
No?
No, sir.
Yeah, okay. Yes. So, next, once we know VR2, this VR2, okay, we are going to substitute in here, in VU2. Okay, so substituting equation 4. Okay, substituting equation 4, that is VR2, okay, in equation 3. Okay, in equation 3, so that is in VU2. Okay, so now by substituting equation 4 in equation 3, so we will get VU2 is equals to, what is VR2? It is an CB into V1 minus U into cos beta 2 minus U. Okay, so I'll repeat once again. So VU2, so whatever the VR2, okay, we're going to replace as CB into V1 minus U. So VU2 is equals to CB into V1 minus U cos beta 2 minus U. Okay, I'm going to call this equation 5. Okay, I'm going to call this equation 5. Okay, next, so already we know VU1 and already we know VU2. Okay, so we know VU1 and we know VU2. Once we know VU1 and VU2, then we can substitute in equation 1. Okay, so we can substitute that VU1 and VU2 in equation 1. So what is the equation 1? In a hydraulic efficiency. Okay, in a hydraulic efficiency. So next is substituting equation 5 and equation 2. What is equation 2? This one. So VU1 is equals to V1. Okay, substituting equation 5 and equation 2 in equation 1. Okay, so that is VU1 and VU2 will going to substitute in hydraulic efficiency. Okay, so we will get hydraulic efficiency is given by so 2U into, what is VU1? So VU1 is V1. What is VU2? Plus CB into V1 minus U into cos beta 2 minus U divided by V1 square. Okay, so after substituting this, okay, just we'll going to rearrange the terms. So 2U into, so V1 minus U. Okay, V1 minus U plus CB into V1 minus U into cos beta 2 divided by V1 square. Okay, divided by V1 square. Okay, next, by seeing this, okay, so here we have V1 minus U as a common. Okay, so V1 minus U, and here also we have V1 minus U, so we can take it outside. So further we can write this as 2U into V1 minus U into 1 plus CB into cos beta 2. See, 2U into V1 minus U we took outside. Okay, so further we can write this is 1 plus CB into cos beta 2 divided by V1 square. Divided by V1 square. So I'm going to call this equation 6. Okay, I'm going to call this equation 6. Okay. So you have any doubt up to equation 6? You have any doubt?
No, sir.
No? So next, I want the maximum hydraulic efficiency. Okay, I want the maximum hydraulic efficiency. So for that maximum, okay, so have to differentiate with respect to U. Okay, we have to differentiate with respect to U. Okay, so next I will going to maximize this hydraulic efficiency. Okay, so I'll going to differentiate with respect to U. So d by du into hydraulic efficiency is 0. Okay, so we have to differentiate this with respect to u. Okay, so further differentiating this, so we can write d by du into 2u into v1 minus u into 1 plus cb into cos beta 2 divided by v1 square. See in this, I will going to take this term. So that is 2 into 1 plus cb cos beta 2 divided by v1 square. So I'm going to take it outside. Okay, next I want to differentiate this one with respect to u. Okay, with respect to u. Okay, by differentiating by u, okay, we will get, so v1 minus, so here we have u square. So u square, if you're going to differentiate with respect to u, so we'll get 2u. Okay, we will get 2u. Clear? So next, so whatever this term, okay, it is does not is equals to 0, but whatever we have v1 minus 2u, okay, that's is equals to 0. So then further we can write this as, so v1 is equals to 2u. Okay, v1 is equals to 2u. So when we will going to get v1 is equals to 2u? So when the maximum hydraulic efficiencies. Okay, so here clearly it states that, so whatever the absolute velocity, okay, when it will maximize the hydraulic efficiency, when the absolute velocity, so v1 is twice the tangential velocity. Okay, twice the tangential velocity is nothing but, okay, that is the blade speed velocity. U is nothing but it is a tangential velocity or it is a blade speed velocity. So when we will get the maximum hydraulic efficiency, when absolute velocity, okay, is twice the tangential velocity. Once we got this, okay, we will going to substitute this equation 7. So that is v1 in equation 6. Okay, so here, so we'll going to further substitute. So whatever we got the maximum, so that is v1 is equals to 2u. So wherever we have v1, we'll going to replace as a 2u. See here, substituting equation 7 in equation 6, we have, so the maximum hydraulic efficiency is, so 2u. So here we have v1 minus u. What is v1? So v1 again we can write it as an 2u. 1 plus cb into cos beta 2 divided by v1 square. Okay, what is v1? It is an 2u square. So further we can write this as 2u into 2u minus u, we'll get only 1u, 1 plus cos beta 2 divided by 4u square. Okay, 4u square. So here u square will get cancelled. So 2 and 2 will get cancelled. So finally we will get the maximum hydraulic efficiency. Because why it is in a maximum? We are substituting this v1 is equals to 2u, then only we will get the maximum hydraulic efficiency here. Okay, so finally we'll get 1 plus cb cos beta 2 divided by 2. Okay, so what is the maximum hydraulic efficiency? The maximum hydraulic efficiency is given by, so 1 plus cb cos beta 2 divided by 2. Okay, so next further here you can check. Yes, hello.
Yes, sir. So
Further,
can you explain the sentence, sir?
which one?
So the velocity of jet should be twice tangential velocity.
This one, okay. You understood up to v1 is equals to 2u?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So when we'll get v1 is equals to 2u. Okay, so here we can check. We want the maximum hydraulic efficiency, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is the maximum hydraulic efficiency? See, it is clear that the hydraulic efficiency is maximum when it is in a maximum when the jet of velocity v1. So v1 is nothing but absolute velocity at inlet. Okay, absolute velocity at inlet is twice. Okay, twice the tangential blade speed velocity.
Yes, sir.
Got my point? Okay, so when the absolute velocity at inlet is twice the tangential blade speed velocity, so then only we will get the maximum hydraulic efficiency. So that's why we're going to substitute this in equation 6. So here. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See, next or what is CB? What is CB?
Friction coefficient, sir.
It is a friction coefficient or a blade velocity coefficient. See, just here we considered, okay, when there are shocks on the vanes and the blades are very rough. Okay, very rough. Then what is the bucket velocity coefficient? CB is equals to VR2 by VR1. Okay, now I have another condition. Okay, if there are no shocks on the vanes and the blades are very smooth, then what is the condition? So I'll repeat once again. If there are no shocks on the vanes and if the vanes are very smooth, then what about the relative velocity?
Equal, sir, both.
It is equal. This is very important because while deriving the derivation, okay, definitely they will going to give. Show that or prove that the maximum hydraulic efficiency of a Pelton wheel is given by 1 plus CB cos beta 2 by 2 or 1 plus cos beta 2 by 2. Okay, so if they given this one, okay, there is a blades are very rough and there is a shocks. Okay, if they given this condition, okay, we have to show this also. So CB is equals to VR1 is equals to VR2. Clear? So this is the maximum hydraulic efficiency, okay, for a Pelton wheel. Okay, for a Pelton wheel. I hope you understood this derivation. Okay, I hope you understood this derivation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, you will take break.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Okay, then I will go to start at 11 o'clock. speed ratio where Ku is or phi is speed ratio which ranges between 0.44 to 0.46. This is very, very important because if they ask design a Pelton wheel, so at that time you have to remember all these values. Okay, you have to remember all these values. So U is equals to phi into root of 2gh, where phi is equals to blade speed ratio. So the value of blade speed ratio is varying between 0.44 to 0.46. Finished? Finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So take down second one. Take down second one. The jet ratio is given by so capital M. M is equals to capital D by small d. So M is equals to capital D by small d. M is equals to D by D, where capital D is mean diameter of the runner, where capital D is mean diameter of the runner and small d is diameter of the jet. Diameter of the jet. So the jet ratio is given by M is equals to D by D. So where capital D is mean diameter of the runner or runner diameter, small d is diameter of the jet. So you can take the M value. So M is varying 12 to 14. 12 to 14. The value of jet ratio usually ranges between 12 to 14. Because why I am stating here only, okay, if they ask design a Pelton wheel, so at the time they won't give all this value. So you have to remember, okay, you have to remember all these values. Finished? Finished? Take down third one. Number of buckets or blades on the runner is given by number of buckets on the runner is given by Z is equals to 15 plus capital D by 2 into small d. So Z is equals to 15 plus D by 2 into small d. So where D by D we can write it as M. So further we can write this as Z is equals to 15 plus 0.5 into capital M. What is M? M is jet ratio. Finished? Finished? Next, take down fourth one. Width of the buckets. Width of the buckets. It is given by phi into small d. Okay, what is small d? Diameter of the jet. Okay, diameter of the jet. So width of the bucket is given by 5 times the diameter of the jet. So 5 into small d. So take down fifth one. Depth of the bucket. Depth of the bucket. It is 1.2 times of the diameter of the jet. So 1.2 into small d. 1.2 into small d. 1.2 into small d. Then overall efficiency of the Pelton wheel is given by, see this already we discussed in the last class itself. So overall efficiency is given by, so P divided by WQH by 1000. Overall efficiency is given by P by WQH. What is P? Power available at the end of the shaft. W is specific weight of the liquid. So this W, it is in a constant value. It is in a rho into G. Okay, specific weight, it is in a constant value. So specific weight of the liquid, Q is discharge, H is nothing but it is in a net head. H is nothing but net head. See, along with this efficiency, okay, we have hydraulic efficiency, we have the mechanical efficiency. Please go through all that efficiencies. Finished? Finished? Completed?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Completed.
Then take down first problem. Take down first problem. Please make it fast. A double jet Pelton wheel is required. A double jet Pelton wheel is required to generate a double jet Pelton wheel is required to generate 7,500 kilowatt is required to generate 7,500 kilowatt when the available head at the base of the nozzle is this is 400 meters. The base of the nozzle is 400 meters. 400 meters. The jet is deflected through 165 degree. The jet is deflected through 165 degree. The jet is deflected through 165 degree and the relative velocity of the jet is reduced by 15%. So please underline for these words. Relative velocity of the jet is reduced by 15%. 15% is passing over the buckets, is passing over the buckets. So determine diameter of each jet. First one, diameter of each jet diameter of each jet. Second one, total flow rate. Total flow rate. Third one, force exerted by the jet in the tangential direction. Force exerted by the jet in the tangential direction. Tangential direction. Tangential direction. Assume generator efficiency is 95%. Generator efficiency is 95%. Overall efficiency is 80%. Overall efficiency is 80%. Comma, speed ratio, so that is phi or Ku. Speed ratio, that is phi or Ku, it is given by 0.47. Okay, what is CV? What is CV? What is CV? Don't tell calorific value, C specific V in a fluid mechanics. What is CV? What is CV?
The specific heat at constant volume.
CV, C specific V. It is not a specific. CV is nothing but it is a coefficient of velocity. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
This CV. Okay. The value is, it is varying up to 0.98. Okay. So it is given by 0.97. So take down. CV is 0.97. 0.97. 0.97. So finished the statement? Completed?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I'll just go for this statement. So here they given a double jet Pelton wheel. What is this double jet Pelton wheel? So my question is, in a Pelton wheel, how many jets are there? I think you completed a Pelton wheel experiment, right? In your
Yes,
lab. Completed?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So my question is, how many jets in that Pelton wheel?
One,
In
sir.
our lab model, how many jets Pelton wheel?
One, sir.
It is only one jet, right? It is only one jet. But if you go to any power station, okay, if you go to any power station, so that is hydraulic power station, okay, it is not a single jet. Okay, it is not a single jet because I experienced, okay, I visited to Sharavati power plant near Shivamogga. Okay, So there we can see the Pelton wheel. The total number of Pelton wheel is 10. So we have the 10 turbines there. Okay, it is a totally 10 turbines. In each turbine, the number of jets are 10 jets. Okay, the number of jets are 10 jets. And see in our lab, the shaft is mounted horizontally. Am I right? Horizontally or vertically? In our lab, the shaft is mounted horizontally or vertically?
Horizontal.
Just recall, horizontally or vertically?
Horizontal, sir.
It is in a horizontal. But if you go to any power station, okay, the shaft is arranged, vertical, not horizontal. Got my point? Okay, it is a vertical shaft. For that vertical shaft and whatever the 10 jets, it is equally distributed. Okay, suppose if the diameter is 50 meters, okay, for that 50 meters, okay, equally the jets are placed. Okay, equally the jets are placed. Got my point? So here they given a double jet Pelton wheel. Okay, number of jets is 2. Okay, number of jets is 2 is required to generate, okay, 7,500 kilowatts. Okay, they given the power. So what about N? N is equals to 2. Okay, N is nothing but number of jets. 7,500 kilowatts when the available head at the base of the nozzle is 400 meters. Okay, so they given the head, it is in a 400 meters. So now my question is whether it is in a net head or a gross head. Whether it is in a net head or a gross head. It is in a net head or a gross head. It is in a net head because clearly they given from the base of the nozzle. Okay, base of the nozzle, it is in a 400 meters. So it is in a net head. Okay, next, the jet is deflected through 165 degree. What does this mean? The jet is deflected through 165 degree. If you understood this diagram, okay, if you understood this diagram, okay, if you understood this diagram, got it. So 180 minus theta is equals to beta 2. Am I right? What is beta 2? Beta 2 is equals to 180 minus theta. Okay, but in this, what they given? In this, what they given? The jet is deflecting through 165 degree. Then what about the beta 2 value? What is the beta 2 value?
So 180 minus 165.
Yes. So beta 2 is equals to 180 minus 65 degree. So please understand here, and blindly you can remember in the Pelton wheel, alpha 1 is equals to 0 and beta 1 is equals to 0. So this is very important in Pelton wheel. Okay, alpha 1 is equals to 0 and beta 1 is equals to 0. But here they given 165 degree. So don't write it is in a beta 1 and don't write directly it is in a beta 2. What is beta 2? So beta 2 is equals to, okay, beta 2 is equals to, it is in a 180 minus theta. They given only the theta. I hope you understood this.
Yes, sir.
So beta 2 is equals to 180 minus 165 degree. And the relative velocity of the jet is reduced by 15 degree. Okay, sorry, not 15 degree, it is a 15%. Okay, so suppose if the water, so I'll come for here. Suppose here the jet of water striking on the turbine blades, okay, and it is taking into two halves, that side or this side. Now I'm considering this side. Okay, now I'm considering this side. Okay, So here they given the relative velocity of the jet is reduced by 15% in passing over the buckets. Okay, in passing over the buckets. So while considering the relative velocity, okay, while considering the relative velocity, see in this, okay, whatever in the blades, already there is a 15% of fluid. Okay, already there is a 15% of the fluid. So initially we are considering it in 100%. In this 100%, okay, already 15% is blocking. Okay, 15% is blocking. So we have to consider even this 15% also in the relative velocity. So that is the statement. Okay, so relative velocity of the jet is reduced by, okay, it is reduced by 15% is passing over the buckets. Okay, is passing over the buckets. Then I want K. I want K. What is K here?
0.75 sir.
Point
75.
75.
Yes sir.
It is a 15%. It is 15%. No,
80%.
85%. Understood? You understood this?
Yes sir.
I hope you everyone understood. So relative velocity of the jet is reduced by 15%. So in this I want K. Okay, or instead of K, I am calling CB. What is CB? CB is nothing but it is a coefficient of the bucket. Okay, CB is nothing but it is a coefficient of bucket. So 100 minus 15. So it will give 85. Okay, it is an 85% is equals to VR2 by VR1. So this is very, very important. So next we have to find out diameter of the jet. So diameter of the jet is nothing but small d, total flow rate Q, and force exerted by the jet in the tangential direction. So we have to find out Ft. So assuming generator efficiency 95%, overall efficiency is 80%, and speed ratio is 0.547. So whatever this, so we can call it as an phi or Ku. And CV, it is a coefficient of velocity is given by 0.97. Okay, so here we can see. So whatever just now we discussed the data, the number of jets is 2. So generator efficiency. So no, it is in a power at the generator. So 7,500 kilowatts netted, and beta 2 is 15 degree. So here I written K or CB, both are same. So 0.85 is equals to VR2 by VR1. So here I have one question. In the statement, if they given the blades are very smooth, okay, and there is a no shocks means, so we will going to directly write VR1 is equals to VR2. So at that time K or a CB is equals to 1. Okay. So next, just note down this. Okay, note down this data. Finished?
Noting down, sir.
See, the overall efficiency, it is 80%, not 85%, because in the statement stated it is an 80%. So make this correction.
Okay, sir.
So if you completed, let me know.
Yes, sir. Completed.
Yes. So next we'll come for solution. So we know that the generator efficiency, it is given by, it is a ratio of generator power by the total power at shaft. Okay, so this already we discussed in the PPT. So that is in the efficiencies. So generator efficiency, it is given by, okay, ratio of generator power by total power at shaft. So by using this, so we're going to find out what is the total power, because already they given the generator efficiency and they given the generator power. They given the generator power. So find out what is total power at shaft. How much you got? I hope you got this value. 7,894.
So 7,890.
You got 890.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Kilowatts, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So next, take down overall efficiency. So overall efficiency is given by P divided by W QH. Already we know overall efficiency, it is given by 80%. And we know what is total power at shaft. So we have to find out what is the total discharge. So here I written it is a Q total because here we have to find out what is the total flow rate. Why it is in a total flow rate? Because number of jets is, okay, 2. We have a double jet Pelton wheel. And we know the specific weight of the liquid. So W, it is given by rho into G. So that value is 9810. So find out what is total discharge.
Sir, overall efficiency 85%, no, sir?
No, it is 80%. So because in the statement it is an 80%, no. See, overall efficiency is 80%. So in the data, okay, so by mistake I written 85. If you are calculating for 0.85, no problem, you can calculate. But your total discharge will be varies, that's it. Please tell the value.
2.5157 meter cube per second.
Total discharge, right?
Yes, sir.
2.51. So it is a meter cube per second. So
Yes,
we
sir.
got the total discharge. So then we can find out for a single jet. Okay, the discharge through a single jet, so divided by 2. So we'll get 1.257 meter cube per second. So next find out the discharge through a single jet is given by suppose if the number of jets is 3, okay, then it is divided by 3. If number of jets is 10, so we're going to write it as a 10. So n number of jets, so divided by n. Finished?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So next we want the absolute velocity. Okay, we want the absolute velocity because in this statement they're not given the absolute velocity. But instead of that, okay, they're given CV. Okay, coefficient of velocity. So by using this formula, by using this, okay, we can find out what is absolute velocity V1. So it is given by CV into root of 2GH. Okay, V1 is equals to CV into root of 2GH. So find out what is absolute velocity at inlet. Absolute velocity at inlet. Absolute velocity at inlet.
So 85.93 meter per second.
85.93 meter per second. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I hope everyone got this value. Yeah. So next we want to find out what is the diameter of the jet. Okay. So what is the diameter of the jet? So for that we know the formula. So discharge is area into velocity. The discharge is given by area into velocity. Right? So by using this formula, find out what is the diameter of the jet. So Q is equals to A into V1. A into V1. So here I written Q1. Okay, means I am calculating for a single jet. Okay, so don't get confused here. So I am already calculated the discharge through a single jet. Okay, so either you can use this Q or you can use this Q. Got it? So now I am calculating the diameter of each jet. So that's why I took Q1. Q1 is equals to A into V1. So further area pi d square by 4.
So what if we take Q total, sir?
Yeah, see, suppose if you're going to take Q total, okay, suppose if you're going to this Q total, so that you are calculating for a 2 jets now.
Yes, sir.
That is the important here. But
So
I
then
want for a single jet now. I want for single jet.
Yes,
So
sir.
then the diameter remains same. It won't varies.
So, but in case if we use Q total, sir, then we have to multiply 2 into A into V1.
See, suppose here, if you calculating, if you're using Q total, sorry, this
Yes,
one,
sir.
Q total, then same. You're getting it is in a pi d square by 4 only.
Yes, sir.
But what about the diameter? The diameter is double, no?
Yes, sir.
Got it. So that's why I'm calculating for a single jet.
Okay, sir.
How much you got D?
0.1365 meter.
0.1365 meters. It is for a single jet. Fine. So next find out U, because already we know in the data, already we know speed ratio. Already we know phi or a KU. So find out U is equals to phi into root of 2GH. Completed?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think you got 41.63 meter per second.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now draw velocity triangle. Okay, you can take this velocity triangle, both are same. You draw velocity triangle. Say velocity triangle carries 2 marks, 2 to 4 marks. It is depends. So now you draw the velocity triangle. So I'll go into continue another 5 to 6 minutes. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So draw the velocity triangle. From the velocity triangle, find what is VR1. So from the inlet velocity triangle, find what is VR1. So VR1 is equals to V1 minus U. From inlet velocity triangle, VR1 is equals to V1 minus U. Finished? Finished?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So from inlet velocity triangle, so we want to find out what is VR1. We want VR1. VR1 is V1 minus U. So find out what is VR1. So got 44.3 meter per second.
Yes,
Sorry.
sir. 44.6 meter per second.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
So
So once you got VR1, we know the formula. Okay, that is CB is equals to VR2 by VR1, or here I written K, both are same. CB is equals to VR2 by VR1. But what is CB value? What is CB value? So here the given, it is in a 15% blocking. Okay, so 100 minus 15 will get 85%. Okay, 85%. So 0.85 is equals to VR2 by VR1. Okay, so already we know what is VR1. So now find out what is VR2. From that condition, okay, find out what is VR2. So CB is equals to VR2 by VR1. So already we know VR1. So find out what is VR2.
Yes, sir. 37.65, sir.
37.65.
Fine.
See, while deriving the derivation, okay, if we consider outlet velocity triangle, okay, what is cos beta 2? Cos beta 2 is adjacent by hypotenuse. What is adjacent? Adjacent is u or u2 plus vu2 divided by hypotenuse is vr2.
Yes,
So
sir.
already we know what is cos beta 2 also. Okay, by using this, find out what is vu2. Okay, by using this, find out what is VU2. See, from the outlet velocity triangle, cos beta 2 is adjacent by hypotenuse. Okay, either you can use this side or this side. Okay, so hypotenuse is, so adjacent is U2 plus VU2 divided by VR2. By using this, find out what is VU2 value. So U1 is equals to U2, that is equals to U. Just find out what is VU2 value. How much you got?
minus 5.26.
Yeah. So everyone you got minus 5.26.
Yes, sir.
See here you got negative value. What it means? You understand, okay, or you just recall how to draw the velocity triangle. Suppose if you got VU2 as a negative value. So what is the next? If you got VU2 as a negative value, so what we can do? What we can do? What it is indicating?
So VU2 will lie on the right side of VF2.
Yeah, so if you got the negative value, so we have to modify the velocity triangle, means the direction is changing. Okay, so initially this is the velocity triangle. Okay, this is the velocity triangle. What is the direction? In this direction. Okay, or if I come for here, okay, in this direction. So now what happens? The direction is changing, means the VU2 will become in this direction. Means whatever this, okay, we have to modify it. Okay, so I'll just show here itself. Since VU2 is negative, the outlet velocity triangle is to be modified as shown in the following figure. Okay, see, this is the velocity triangle. This is very, 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 very important. I hope you understood this, right? So this is the initial velocity triangle. Okay, and suddenly after calculating VU2, we got the negative value. Okay, VU2, if they got negative, it means, okay, it means we have to change the direction. I hope you understood this. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So we will going to modify, this is the velocity triangle now. Okay, then what is the force exerted? See, both inlet as well as, okay, outlet is in the same direction. So that is very important. Okay, that is very important. Clear? So note down this velocity triangle, and this is the total force. So while calculating itself, you can make it as a 2 because here they asked total force. Okay, total force exerted. So directly you can multiply by 2 here because number of jets is 2. So in this formula, so what is VU1 from the velocity triangle? VU1 is V1. And later you don't scratch your head, sir. V1 is not given. So V1 is equals to VU1. Finished?
Yes, sir.
I hope you understood how to solve problems on Pelton wheel.
Yes, sir.
Hmm? Completed?
So 1 minute, sir.
Yeah, okay. And one more announcement from next week onwards. Okay, so I'm going to combine all divisions, Wednesday as well as Thursday. Okay, you join to FM class only. I think FP is over. So from next Wednesday, all 4 divisions join to FM class. So if you're going to give 4 to 5 classes, okay, I'm going to complete hydraulic turbines as well as centrifugal pumps.
Yes, sir.
Finished?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Next Wednesday, IA. Okay, they scheduled IA. Maybe IA will be postponed. I don't know exactly because your term, semester term, it is postponed up to January. Okay, so we are hope maybe your IA also postponed. Maybe I don't know exactly. Even I am waiting for the announcement. Okay, if IA is there, okay, then IA. If not, okay, then everyone join to FM class only.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.